was a rough day on the hardwood for both Gator basketball teams, with losses coming in very different fashion. Welcome back to sports. I'm Justin Ahlum. After the women lost earlier in the day on Tuesday, the Gator men's basketball team folded against their Biddle rival, losing to the Florida State Seminoles 81-60 in Tallahassee. The number 17 team in the nation easily handled the Gators. For Florida, the offense sputtered in the first half as the team converted only 24% of their shots from the field. Because of that, Florida State dominated from beginning to end, also taking advantage of their shooting ability and the large amount of Florida fouls. The Noles went 24 of 34 from the charity stripe and knocked down nearly 50% of their three-pointers. DeAndre Ballard led UF in scoring with 13, while freshman Andrew Nemard chipped in with 12. The Gators will be back in action on Friday night against Charleston Southern for their first home game of the season. Across the nation, many of the country's top teams made their season debuts. In Indianapolis, the number 4 Duke Blue Devils handled the SEC favorites, and second-ranked Kentucky Wildcats 118-84. The fabulous freshmen for the Blue Devils were in mid-season form against the Wildcats. Zion Williamson balled out on Tuesday, scoring 28 points on 11 of 13 shooting and collecting 7 rebounds. His fellow freshman R.J. Barrett also had a fantastic debut. The 6'7" forward had 33 points, scoring 20 of them in the first half. Barrett finished the game with a 50% clip from the field. Meanwhile, the number 1 team in the nation took the same court against the Michigan State Spartans. The Kansas Jayhawks battled against the 10th-ranked Spartans, defeating Tom Izzo and his squad 92-87. The Jayhawks' Quentin Grimes and Dedrick Lawson led the way for Kansas, scoring 21 and 20 points respectively. Junior guard Joshua Langford led the Spartans with 18 points in the loss. On Monday, the Florida Gators football team released an unofficial depth chart for their game against South Carolina this Saturday. Felipe Franks is ahead of Kyle Trask on the chart, despite being pulled in the third quarter against the Missouri Tigers in favor of Trask. Although the chart says Franks is in line to start, there has been no sure answer from the locker room or Coach Dan Mullen this week. Regardless, members of the offense believe that the team can still succeed no matter who is under center.
Both of those guys are competitors. They both want to win the game. They're both studying film after practice. They're both, they both want to win. And but the thing that I noticed is they're both cheering each other on. No one is having a pouty face when the other one makes a good throw after he just made a bad throw. They're both like, hey man, great throw. So whoever wins the job, I feel like the other one is going to be right behind them.
Each guy is a competitor. Each guy works extremely hard. Each guy can throw it a mile. Each guy has that voice when they're in the huddle that really commands the attention of the offense. So, they're both great guys, and I'm just looking forward to see who comes out.
Regardless of who is at quarterback, the Gators still have to prepare for the Gamecocks. Will Muschamp, former head coach of the Gators, will return to the Swamp for the second time since his firing. His Gamecocks lost 20-7 back in 2016 during his first trip back to the Swamp. After 10 weeks of the college football season, the race for a spot in the playoffs is creeping up on its finish. Both Alabama and Clemson retained their number 1 and 2 spots this week, while a shift in the final 2 positions took place. Notre Dame moved up 1 to number 3, while the Michigan Wolverines moved into the final playoff spot as a result of LSU's loss to the Crimson Tide. Gator fans have to scroll down to 15 to find their beloved Florida squad. UF dropped 4 positions after its home loss to Missouri. SEC rival Kentucky came in at the 11th spot this week, while fellow Florida school UCF maintained their position at 12 for the second straight week.